This is for the Hardwoodsman overnight in a shelter built with no tools. I think I've found a spot here in the woods that I want to try to build my shelter. I got plenty of stuff to pick from. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a good size tree and run it down and then build my shelter. It'll be a lean-to, but it's going to be hard for me to find a place to wedge it in perfect where it'll stay in place. I think this will be long enough for me since I'm so tall. I have to wedge this. I got lucky and it fell between these two trees. I think I'll be able to break it with that. It's almost like putting together a puzzle. I hate puzzles. All right, I got my lean-to set up. I tried to put a stake right here to keep it from sliding down. Now, this is actually a little bit bigger than what I really wanted to build, but I'm such a big guy that I'm gonna need a big enough space. And down there, it's real low. That's where my feet will go. Up there will be where my head goes. So if I have to sleep in the fetal position, I'm fine with that. So what I'm gonna try to do now is I'm gonna try to get up as much of this pine straw and layer it on top of my roof. So Okay, what I've done is I took pine straw and I started at the bottom and worked my way up, kind of like you would with bark, or give it the shingles effect, where if it rained the water would roll right off. Now I can see some spots here all the way through to the inside, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this compact down for an hour or two, and then I'll come back and I'll try to fill in any holes that I see. This is what it looks like on the inside. Something that I should have said earlier was, as I was putting these in, it's kind of like ribs that holds everything back off of your shelter. I got this little snackle box or whatever for Christmas as a gift. I thought it was cheesy, but right about now, it's the best thing in the world. Uh-oh. Building a shelter wasn't that bad. The only thing about having to build a shelter is I have to make it so big because I'm so big. And it took me, I don't know, 3 maybe hours, give or take, just walking around looking for material and breaking stuff up and putting it together. But I've enjoyed making the shelter. I don't particularly care for the solos, but I know it's part of the challenge. But I get out here and it reminds me of when I was a kid. Me and some of my buddies, we'd go out camping, and how much I loved the woods then, and our imaginations just run wild. And almost every one of those guys, all but one, went into the military. We all had like minds. And the one that didn't go in the military, he went in the police department or sheriff's department. And one of my real good friends, he passed on. But I remember we come up on the mountain one night, and we had my night vision goggles. And as we were looking out, we could see, or we could hear something coming, and I got my night vision goggles out, and it was a C-130, and they flew so low to the ground, and we were at such an angle on the mountain that you could see the pilot's face from the instrument panel. That it was lit up through the night vision goggles. And I really miss times like that, hanging out with my friend. And I got out my old poncho liner, and reminded me of one time we were at a survival course down at Fort Benning at the Ranger camp, and it was cold. It was all tactical survival. It wasn't bushcraft. Bushcraft is surviving and thriving. This was wilderness survival, tactical. Everything was hush hush. They showed us very little about fires, but they were showing us about shelters. And that night, I got on one side of the fire because it was super cold, and a buddy of mine got on the other side of the fire. And we'd wake up cold, and all we had was this poncho liner. And we'd wake up, and we had made a big mound of wood, and I would wake up and I would throw wood on the fire, and it would land on this side, and it would burn up the hill towards him. Well, he would wake up whenever it had burnt down, and he would throw sticks of wood on this side of the fire, and then the fire would burn down, and it burned up and down that bank all night long. And I don't know, I guess it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and somebody was just beating the crap out of me, and I was like, "What's going on?" And it was my buddy. He said, "You're on fire." And and what had happened was he threw sticks of wood on this side of the fire. It burnt down, and it caught my poncho liner on fire, and it come across and burnt across my chest, and it melted the poncho liner and melted onto some of my uniform. And I guess that was 25 plus years ago. Well, last year we did a reunion, and I hadn't seen him in 25 years or so. And he called my name, and I turned around. He was standing there, had a brand new poncho, this right here, to give to me. He goes, "Sorry for burning your poncho up." So, and it's times like that makes me appreciate being out in the outdoors, because this is making memories that will be with me for the rest of my life. And I hope to be able to share those memories with my son and with my friends. So I've learned so much from the Hardwoodsman's course, even the no-go stuff. I mean, I enjoy doing this, and I hope that I can complete this course, because there's just so much for me to get out of it. And I hope other people continue on their journey to get their Hardwoodsman as well. My back hurts. I tossed and turned all night long. I was uncomfortable. I ended up moving out of my shelter out onto the ground outside the entrance. I picked off ticks and had mosquitoes all over me. Here's the part I really dread: breaking everything down. It's almost 7 o'clock now.